And so we're here for the second installment of Will This Video Get a Million Views? And who knows? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. The caveat being, does it need a million views, or how much time are we giving it to get a million views? A million views is a lot. A million views is hard to come by on one video. But it's a good question to ask. And I made a few videos here recently that I decided not to publish. And I think that in time I will publish them publicly for all to see. But for now, I'm going to sit on them. I'm going to hold them. And if you guys if you want to see them before then just stick with me here, and I'll share with you how to find them. I've got multiple channels, but I've decided to focus, or at least allow myself to focus more on this channel for a variety of reasons. And there's just some thoughts and some questions going through my head today. One of them being, why do you want a million views? And the reason why you'd probably want a million views is because somebody else got a million views. And, or maybe just a million sounds like a cool number, you know? Maybe you think a million views is gonna pay you a lot of money. Maybe you think a million views is gonna make your channel blow up, and then you'll immediately get a million views on every video, which, I hate to break it to you, spoiler alert, however many views you get on a video will not have an impact on how many views you get on the next video. Now, granted, YouTube will possibly try to keep you in some range, but even that is not necessarily guaranteed. And I can actually give you guys an example, because one of the channels we watched, one of the creators we watched last night was Lucky Lopez. And if you look at Lucky Lopez and his content and his channel, he's doing really well. His channel's growing. You know, he provides great information. And if you look at his channel, you may notice how most videos have a specific range. And then when he introduces the G-Wagon 6x6 build, it's almost like there's nobody watching. So that just is an example of how, no matter what, YouTube kind of puts you in a range, but if you go outside of that norm of the content that you create, then YouTube will treat it completely differently. No matter how good or how bad it is, YouTube treats it differently, and you just never know what you're going to get out of that. But I guess the real question is, well, why did you create the content to begin with? That's more important, really, because depending on why you made the content, I don't think it matters how many views you get. I think that even if a video only got 50 views or 100 views or less than 500 views on a channel that can typically pull in thousands, if those views reach the right audience and the right people, then that's all that matters. And this, to me, is more important than vanity metrics. And as time goes on, I'll begin to elaborate and explain in greater detail what that means now, what it means later, and what it could potentially mean for you. But in order for me to do that, I got to give it some time, and I gotta push these videos out. And that's what we're going to try to do. I was thinking about some of these theories and practices and strategies and terms that get tossed around, and unfortunately, one of them is a popular plugin company, vidIQ. And vidIQ has what's called the vidIQ competitors tool. And this allows you to choose competitors and then rank yourself against them in regard to views, subscribers, growth, monthly views, you name it. And I got to tell you guys, I think that it's a gift and a curse for sure, because YouTube is going to treat you how YouTube's going to treat you, and it has no bearing on how YouTube treats anybody else. And it's not even really personal, it's by channel, but it's YouTube, so we're going to say anybody else, but I mean any other channel. Even if it's you yourself, and you have more than one channel, YouTube's going to treat all of them differently. Even if you had more than one channel on the same topics, YouTube would treat both channels differently. If you have more than one channel on different topics, YouTube's going to treat each one differently. That's just how it works. So to want to engage in this ridiculous and it could almost be detrimental to your growth and your success and your creativity and your authenticity and your originality by going into this with the mindset of, I want to compare myself to not even someone else or not even to somebody else's channel. I want to compare myself against an unrealistic and extremely volatile range of data points that includes multiple variables, many of which I don't know what they are. This doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I've removed vidIQ. I've removed TubeBuddy. I have no plugins. And maybe this is a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. Time will tell. We'll see. But I prefer to go about this in a natural and as human and realistic approach as possible, of literally just turning the camera on, pressing record, sharing with you guys what I want to share with you guys, uploading the video, selecting a thumbnail from one of the 3 choices that YouTube has provided to me, and let it be what it's going to be. I've run a lot of tests on a lot of different channels, and I have seen a lot of results, and I feel pretty confident in what's going to happen. And a lot of it is completely out of your control, completely out of my control, completely out of any YouTube content creator's control. But what is in our control is who we choose to be. And I think now is quite possibly the most important time to choose to be yourself, which is hard to do when some of the better tools out there, theoretically, are immediately encouraging you to not be yourself by comparing yourself to someone else. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. Interestingly enough, some of the results that came back from our last talk about getting 1 million views was the subscriber count on that video is a net 2 subscriber gain. Net 2 gain. It actually gained 3, but it lost 1. I think it lost 1. So it gained 3, but it lost 1, so it's a net 2. So when you look at it on your analytics studio, it's like, oh, you gained 2 subscribers. But if you drill down on it, you actually gained 3 subscribers, or at least I did. And that is an is important. That's huge, especially when YouTube provided me with the notification from that video that my regular viewers are showing less interest in this video. Maybe and YouTube says, maybe consider doing something different. Okay, maybe. I considered it. I chose not to. I'm going to consider to do what I want to do. And YouTube, has even proven this in instances with Sam Sulek, because Sam Sulek literally, he goes against the grain. He does everything you're not supposed to do. He's doing what he wants. He's being himself. Raw, natural, authentic, half natty, of course, but what YouTube provides and shares and tells you is meaningless. For instance, I'm gonna tell you like this. YouTube could tell you that your audience is showing less interest. YouTube will tell you that your click-through rate is lower and your viewer duration or audience retention is lower than normal. This may, all vague words here, limit or reduce your likelihood of being on the home page or suggested or recommended or up next. However, if you hit every mark, if you get a 30% click-through rate, if you get a 50% retention or better, if you do everything that you're supposed to do, guess what? You may not end up on the homepage. You may not end up suggested and recommended. You just may not. And then YouTube says, this video is performing as usual. But again, why did you make the video? What was the purpose? The purpose for me making this video is to share my thoughts and opinions and maybe reach another 3 people who want to subscribe and help other people get a better understanding of how YouTube works and how it doesn't work, and how even when YouTube doesn't work, it can still work for you for whatever that purpose may be, as long as you know what that is and it's what you want and not you comparing yourself or trying to mimic or copy a competitor. Interesting how that word competitor is used, because essentially that is any channel you choose to insert into vidIQ's tool and line yourself up against. But does that make you a competitor? Am I a competitor against Squirrel Tribe? Am I a competitor against my brother? Am I a competitor against Chris Igo? Am I a competitor against Destin60? I don't think so. Am I a competitor against some of my other channels that I run myself? I don't think so. So to use that terminology already puts you in a mental state that, in my opinion, I think is unhealthy. It's unhealthy, especially if you don't truly understand what it means. Yeah. So the crazy thing about YouTube is that you could do everything right or you could do everything wrong, and the end result, you don't know what it's going to be. Now, granted, some folks out there are pretty consistent, and with that consistency, they tend to continue to hit the mark, and they'll stay on a consistent track of average daily views, average 30-day or 28-day views, average subscriber growth. However, in order to do that, in order to stay consistent, you have to stay consistent. So that means if you make a video that performs well, you need to make another video almost identical to that previous video, but different. Because nobody wants a rerun, but they do want it to be the same, because it's triggering all the little the KPIs for the algorithm and for the audience. They're supposed to be one and the same. I'm talking about from the intro. I mean, this goes into the basic fundamentals of the idea, the title, the thumbnail, the hook, the intro, the length of the video. And this puts you into a little bit of a robotic and monotonous, formula of repetition, which is fine as long as you like being stuck in a box and being forced to be whatever that is. Hopefully whatever that is something that you enjoy, because if you happen to stumble upon this winning formula and it's not necessarily something you enjoy, well, then you have to make the choice and decide, do I keep doing more of what I don't necessarily enjoy because it kind of works and it pays me pretty good, or do I revert back to what I do enjoy, but I'll get, I'm not going to get the same results. And these results are tied to vanity metrics, which I'm gonna have to go into greater detail on vanity metrics, but I'm gonna save that for the members. So if you're a member, you're gonna have access to a lot of videos that I'm probably not gonna publish publicly anytime soon. And if you're a member on the channel, they'll be there. And I'll put 2 up today that I've been sitting on, and I'll let you guys have them. And we can go into a greater detail there. And the reason for it is because the value, okay? I'm not talking about the value from you guys paying a membership. I think what it comes down to is, why did I make the video? Well, I made the video to connect with people who are interested in having this information, who's interested in learning and improving and bettering themselves and connecting. And those people are going to be members, okay? Sure, some of those people are not, but they can be members at any point in time whenever they want to. Because unfortunately, when you send it out to the masses, as I said before, you don't know who YouTube's going to send it to. And with that, I feel as though I am not being appreciated for the value that I feel as though I'm providing. And therefore, I don't want to do that. I don't want to give it to everybody when not everybody's going to appreciate it, if that makes sense. And so I'll put that for members. I'll put it as an end screen. So if you've made it this far in the video, odds are you're probably interested in what I have to say. And I'll put it at the end screen so you'll see it. But if you click it and you're not a member, you'll have to become a member in order to watch it. But it's interesting how YouTube does this, because whether you do something right or you do something wrong, or you do everything right or do everything wrong, YouTube may decide to reward you or punish you, basically. And it's very finicky. There's some folks out there that I truly don't understand how or why they are underserved. Sarah Dietschy, Charlie Chang, Natalie Lynn. There's some folks out there that I'm thinking to myself, man, how did they end up where they ended up? Because they're amazing. They're above and beyond. They're exceptional. But YouTube's decided that they're not what the masses should be watching, I guess. I don't know. Unless they hit it out the park with a certain topic, title, thumbnail, hook, clickbait, or whatever it may be. Charlie Chang, he even said it himself. If you ever watch Starter Story with Charlie Chang, he said that the video that he recorded and published from Coachella performed really well. He goes, yeah, we used a girl in a bikini top on the thumbnail. We knew it was going to work out pretty well. But at the end of the day, it's a vanity metric. And what audience did it bring in? And more importantly, was it effective in the reason behind why you made it? If you're making it purely and solely for just the vanity metric of views, and that's one thing, but if you're making it for the purpose of connecting to a specific audience, that audience providing you with a specific CPM and RPM, that audience possibly converting on call to actions and affiliate links and paid promotion, sponsorship deals, and this, that, and the other, then that's a different story. But it's just how it works. And I can tell you guys right now that very few, if any, people really talk about how this works and how it doesn't work. Case in point, somebody who I thought really knew it, Catherine Manning. I'll try to remember these folks. I'll try to remember to put these folks in the description. But Catherine Manning, she's changed, but people change, channels change, YouTube changes people. And she's somebody I thought really would have understood how this platform works. And every now and then I try to go back over there and check her out and see how she's doing. And I'm consistently reminded that she has almost fallen victim to YouTube's algorithm, and is kind of like stuck in this little spiral. And I recognize it because I've been there. I might still actually be there. But I think one of the differences is that I have backup, I have support, so that, Squirrel Tribe, she can continue to do what she does, and then I can take a break and do what I need to do, what I want to do. What I have been doing isn't necessarily what I want to do or what I should be doing, in my opinion. And because of that, it allows me that flexibility. But Catherine Manning, if you happen to come across this, I am not knocking you. I'm only analyzing your videos and your content from a professional point of view, as a fellow YouTube content creator, YouTuber who's interested in the algorithm and the analytics, and essentially learning as much as possible to improve ourselves, but also others that we offer services to, coaching, consulting, whatever it may be. But I'll leave you guys with the last one being, I gotta make a mental note: Charlie Chang, Sarah Dietschy, Natalie Lynn, and Catherine Manning. I gotta remember that, so I can put it in the description. So the last one I'll leave you guys with is that even if you do something right, or even if you do something wrong, or even if you do everything right or you do everything wrong, YouTube's gonna do what YouTube's gonna do, and that could happen immediately upon upload. It could happen in 24 hours, it could happen in a week, it could happen in a month, it could happen in 10 years. I don't know how many different times I've come across videos and folks are like, in the comments, and they're like, why am I just now being shown this video 6 years later? YouTube does what YouTube does. YouTube does some weird stuff. But here's one of the extreme variable outliers that nobody has control over, and that is organic share. And there's actually, I don't think she's on YouTube, but there was a woman out there, and her name was Mrs. Poindexter. That's what it was, Mrs. Poindexter. And apparently she was running a pretty decent operation on whatever platform she was on. I don't even know what platform she was on, but she was running a pretty decent operation that funneled folks back to her OnlyFans. But the only reason why I even came to know of her name was because she made a big headline news story. Well, the reason why she made the headline news story, I think, was in part of her random virality because of Reddit. Now, granted, some of these things can be purposely done. Like, you can build a brand, you can build a channel, you can funnel to a third-party paywall, you can build out merch, you can build a business, and then you can do essentially what Stanley did. Stanley, in order to get their tumblers, these water jugs so popular, is they infiltrated social media in every possible way to target the female buying demographic, for the most part, with these bright colors and limited edition special runs and unboxings and product reviews and different things and product placement. And that's what they did. So to say that somebody didn't do this on purpose, I wouldn't put it past them. And if that's part of your strategy, then good, so be it. And if you want to work on that together and how to make the most of that, then we can discuss that for sure. But it's been done before. I mean, literally, it's no different than buying a billboard, as I've heard stories of people who have bought hundreds of billboards for a specific reason, as a gamble, because billboards are hard to track the success of the effectiveness of the campaign. But I'm not going to put this past anybody on how it happens. But At the end of the day, it was an organic share. And that Reddit virality sent a massive shockwave through the rest of the internet and social media, and probably took her to multi-million-dollar monthly revenue earning status. Whether she did everything right or she did everything wrong because of organic share. So for instance, let's just say we're on YouTube and somebody comes across my video and they like it, or they share it, or they mention me in a community post, or they mention me to their audience on a video, as Jeremiah Babe had done at one point in time. I think Patrick Humphreys had done at one point in time, maybe a few others, I'm not 100% sure. I know I've mentioned others on my videos. And, or let's just say somebody reacts to my content, or I get picked up by the US Sun or Daily Mail, because Squirrel Tribe, she got picked up once before, and for a video. And you just never know. You never know who's gonna pick you up, who's gonna share you, who's gonna mention you, where that's gonna go, and then where that's gonna go from there. And that's completely separate. That's completely isolated from the YouTube algorithm. So again, whether you do everything right or you do everything wrong, you still have that extreme variable of organic share potentially propelling you. Ryan Trahan was part of that. Ryan Trahan had organic share. People loved what he was doing. They loved his story of taking a penny to Mr. Beast. And so with that though, I think that there's a huge importance, and I hope this wind is being blocked because I didn't bring my fuzzy thing, my dead cat diffuser. But I think with that organic share, what's most important is that you, in fact, are you. You are yourself. You are who you want the world to see, whether it's one viewer or 1 million or more. And this, folks, doesn't require you to use any plug-in to compare yourself to anyone else. This literally just relies on you being you. You pressing record, you sharing, you informing, you educating, you entertaining, you enlightening, you uplifting, you whatever you're going to do, doing that. With that being the only sole focus and motive and agenda, is naturally and organically trying to connect to just one. That's it. So if you want the members only videos, I'll put them up. So I got 2 of those, and now I got to include Natalie Lynn, Sarah Dietschy, Catherine Manning, Charlie Chang. I just mentioned one more, and I don't remember who it was. All right, I'll have to rack my brain on that one. But thanks for watching. And just out of curiosity, if you are a YouTuber, or you are a content creator, or you are an influencer, or possibly considering becoming one, vote on my community post poll. I'm gonna put up a poll, and I'm just kind of curious, so you can drop a comment down below. See you guys later.